I'm a winner.
This is a total disgrace. I disavow this election. I'm staying right behind this desk no matter what. You can't replace me, and definitely not with a woman. Me too? What about me? I'm being evicted like a South African farmer. I won the popular vote. This is white genocide. White genocide. I'll call the Electoral College. They like me. Where's the nuclear football? Give me the nuclear football. What's the number? 867-530. Wow, a Trump. Wow.
Donald Trump? Yeah!
All right. Everyone, welcome to the morning show. My name's Andy Hall. I'm celebrating. I got my covfefe right here. I got my Baileys right here. And I'm going to see if I can get this to the mic. That's, I don't know if you heard any of that, but that's the sound of victory. That is a sign. That is the sound of celebration, right, everyone? I hope everyone is celebrating. I hope everyone is doing well. Good morning, Blazing. Good morning. I'm just going to shout out everyone. Phil, Derek, God equals the square root. Yeah, right. Gone. Though he's pledging to return. I only saw a bit of his speech at the airport there, but he pledges to return. And okay, tell me if I'm wrong, everyone. For those of you who remember the TV show Taxi, this is back in the day. Andy Kaufman played this character Latka. And I was just listening to Melania Trump talk. And I said to myself, oh, my fictitious God, she sounds like Andy Kaufman doing a Latka in Taxi. I just came, hey, David Paul. So that's what I care. That was today's epiphany for me. I'm sure there'll be more epiphanies since I have officially Irished up my coffee. And I just plan to drink my way through a part of the day, at least, to celebrate. Got to pace myself out here on Inauguration Day. I have to pace myself out on Inauguration Day. Wild Eden, hello. Hello, Wild Eden. All right. So the question, easy question for today. How happy are you that Trump is no longer president? Did I type that out when I was drinking? How happy are you Trump is no longer president? All right, that kind of makes sense. I think that makes some kind of rational sense to me. I am, you have also Irish stuff. Ah, yes, Barry. Excellent. Oh, it's a great day here. It's a great day for the free people of the United States and of the world. Yeah, it is. A dark cloud has been lifted. Indeed, James Henry. Indeed. Now I don't have to try to get my kid out of the country really, really fast, because if Biden lost and Trump came in, it's like, well, I gotta try to get my kid to Canada somehow or some other country, which is close to impossible since it's COVID-19. But because the next 4 years, if Trump was still going to be president, Junk Shop Library, how you doing? If he was still going to be president for the next 4 years, that's when the real trouble happens with these despots, doesn't it? That's when Erdogan consumed the rest of the whatever was left of democracy in Turkey. Same thing with Putin. So if Trump had actually gotten a second term, it would have been horrible. It would have been horrible. He went out with Macho Man by the Village People. Indeed. I guess that was one of the theme songs for his mob. I saw the 17 executive orders that Biden is intending to sign, and it's already good. Yeah, I'm actually going to be covering some of the stuff that Joe Biden is going to be doing today, to help rescind some of the idiocy that Donald J. Trump has done over the years. Oh, Wild Eden says, I remember Taxi and Latka. Right. I still think Melania Trump sounds like Latka. She sounds like Andy Kaufman doing an Eastern European accent. Junk Shop Library. Let's see. Lee Spanner says, President crash and burn, vows to return as MacArthur swore to the Philippines. Indeed, indeed. Hey, Theo, radically, sup, inauguration. It's a good day. It is a good day. Jess M, glad that you could make it this morning. So I'm exceptionally happy that Trump is no longer president. Words. Maybe words will find me after some more of this lovely Irish coffee I have, possibly. You can always tell that there are times that I have a smile on my face, but I don't look happy, right? But there are times that I just look happy, and I have a glow. I have a very pale skin glow to me that's happy, and that is today, all day, and maybe a couple of days down the road, right? And you know why I'm happy? Do you know why I'm happy?
Donald Trump? Yeah! Donald Trump?
I'm sorry, I'm just going to keep I might do that a bit much. The more that I drink, the more I might just press that button. And I apologize beforehand, everyone. Trump, gone. The dark cloud, gone. The man who would be king, gone. And Mitch McConnell said earlier that Donald Trump is responsible, has to take some responsibility for the Capitol riots. If that isn't the writing on the wall about how the impeachment trial is going to be in the Senate, I don't know. I don't know what will be. Oh, Theo, yeah, I hear what you're saying, brother. I hear what you're saying. I'm happy that the bag of poo is gone, but I'm concerned with Biden. I voted for Bernie in the primaries. I voted Green during the general election since I'm in a blue state, and we were going to go for blue anyway. So I voted for Howie Hawkins. But, I'll tell you this. We're going to look over some of Biden's 100 days, or at least today. We're going to take a look at some of the things he is doing today to help unwind these horrible things that Donald Trump has done to our country. All right. Barry, well said. I would like to point out that this is the start of the work and not the end, not trying to depress anyone, but we need to keep the pressure up. Indeed, this is the time to start calling people, to start calling up your legislators, and to put the heat on them, All right, let's take a look. Let's take a look at some more fun. We have some more fun here. Is it happy impeachment or merry impeachment? I don't want to offend anyone. Treason's greetings. And this is my favorite one right there. Impeach Navidad. Impeach Navidad. Ba, ba, ba. It's Impeach Navidad, everyone. Impeach Navidad. All right, let's take a look at the next one. Melania Trump threatened to sue anyone who claimed she used to be a sex worker. In response, sex workers threatened to sue anyone who claimed Melania Trump used to be one of them. Well played, middle-aged riot. Love that guy. Always has the on-point jokes. Impeach Navidad, right? Oh, James Henry. I don't want to get my hopes up, but I think possibly we're going to have in the United States the first time a president has been convicted in the Senate. Andrew Johnson, he missed being convicted by one vote. Of course, Donald Trump the first time didn't get convicted. Clinton, of course, didn't get convicted. Nixon was smart enough to leave town before the craziness happened to him. Oh, the things that led Casey. Hey, Randy, how you doing? The things that led to Trump are still very present in the U.S. politics. True enough. Let's go to the next the next bit of fun here. Oh, this is from Leanne Lord. Leanne Lord is a hilarious, she's been on this channel. She is a hilarious humanist, comedian. She does good work. Star Trek geek, too. Deep knowledge of Star Trek. What does she have to say about this? Them, are you going to watch the inauguration? Me, no. I voted for the kind of president who doesn't need constant adult supervision. Indeed, Joe Biden does not need constant supervision. And here we go. This is what Blazing Wizard Pope says. A long time ago in Washington, a riot broke down the wall, but then Donald got sent home on that election day. I'll give that a godless hallelujah. That's what I will. Godless hallelujah. If you remember 2016, there was all this buzz, all these news articles about, there are going to be adults in the room. There'll be adults in the room to keep Donald Trump in check. How did that work out? How did that work out? Not well. The thing is, and I'm going to wax philosophic for a minute, the presidency here is imperial here in the United States of America, especially when you have a dysfunctional legislative branch. When that happens, a lot of power goes to the president. And you can't afford to have a president. You cannot afford to have a Christian fascist head of state in the United States of America because the office is so powerful. You can't afford to have someone who's a lunatic, but there's going to be some adults in the room that's going to be able to keep him under control. The last 4 years is clear evidence that model does not work. It does not work. It didn't work then, and it won't work in the future. Oh, man. All right. You're right, James Henry. It didn't, and it won't, just because the office is so. I don't know about parliamentary systems. Maybe it would. Trump got rid of the reasonable people rap. Well, yeah, that's right. He was looking for his own cult. He was looking for his own power base within the executive office. And you can see how he politicized these bureaucratic positions, right? Because he was looking for a cult of personality within. See, I'm not even going to talk about German National Socialism in the 30s or the 40s right now, though that would be easy to do. But his goal was to consume the government. Then if he had gotten another 4 years, it would have happened. It would have happened. News stories. You may think to yourself, stupidity here in the United States of America. It's and I mentioned this before. It's like a bottomless pit. As soon as you think to yourself, you can't get any more stupid, you suddenly discover a whole vein of stupid, a whole hidden storage depot, a strategic reserve of stupid. And that's what we have in the United States of America. We have a strategic reserve of stupid. Now, we all know that a lot of these rioters in Washington, D.C., they're getting arrested because of them just taking selfies and throwing it online, all for the shares and the likes. Well, it's actually something a little bit more stupid than that with this gentleman. This person we're about to talk about, he has actually pushed the envelope of stupid. Has he broken the sound barrier of stupid? I don't know. You guys are going to have to figure that out. Oh, he did. He did pardon Bannon. Yes, he did not pardon himself. Yeah, though he can be pardoning up until noontime, let's not forget. But Trump did pardon Steve Bannon. You're British? Hello. All right, so we're going to talk about the rioter who has pushed the envelope of stupid, who has broken the sound barrier of stupid. And let's see that story. Da, 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 da. Oh, wait a minute. I was going to go to Joe Biden's 100 days. Well, I want to talk about this stupid guy first. Is that okay? I think I want to talk about this stupid guy first. Capitol rioter arrested after sending selfie to girlfriend's brother, a federal agent. The Department of Justice says Thomas Fee of Freeport, New York, sent a photo of himself in the Capitol Rotunda to a special agent for the State Department. It wasn't as if he just threw it on Facebook or he threw it on the gram or he put it on Twitter. He sent it to a federal agent. He sent a picture of him breaking the law to law enforcement. Let's check out this story. Washington, a New York man has now been charged with participating in the January 6th insurrection in D.C. after allegedly texting a picture and video of himself because a picture isn't worth it. A picture isn't enough. You got to do the video too to make sure you get the maximum penalty. All right, so he texted a picture and a video of himself in the Capitol to his girlfriend's brother, a special agent in the U.S. Diplomatic Security Service, according to a probable cause affidavit. We'll go with that. Filed in the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia, the agent, who is a federal officer employed by the Department of State, reported the photo and the video to the Diplomatic Security Service, which then passed it along to the Joint Terrorism Task Force. What did he think? What did he think? This Fee person, that's his name, Mr. Fee. What did he think was going to happen when he texted a picture of himself and a video of breaking law to law enforcement, to an agent? The story continues. The agent reportedly saw a post from his sister on Facebook that her boyfriend, Thomas Fee, of Freeport, New York, and the D.C. at the rally on January 6th. The agent subsequently texted Fee, who allegedly confirmed his presence and sent him a selfie of him to the Capitol Rotunda, along with a video and the text saying he was at the tip of the sphere. He's not at the tip of the sphere, of the spear. So this federal agent, he saw this picture of a rioter on Facebook. He hit him up because he knows this guy. He knows this guy's phone number. He hits him up and said, "Hey, are you rioting right now?" And the dude, this guy, Fee, says, "Yeah, that's me. Check me out. Check out how awesome I am." And sent him the picture and the video of him breaking the law. According to the affidavit, federal investigators were able to confirm a white Chevy Tahoe registered to Fee left Long Island, where Freeport is located, on January 5th and returned January 7th at around 11 a.m. Did they really need more of a smoking gun? I guess having more smoking guns are good. I would say that the video evidence is pretty damning. CNN reports Fee retired from the New York Fire Department on October. After 22 years, he is at least the second retired firefighter to be charged in connection with the Capitol riot, the other being Robert Sanford of Boothwyn, Pennsylvania, who is accused of striking 3 Capitol police officers in the head with a fire extinguisher. And you know they're all part of this Support the Blue crap. They probably have flags with the thin blue line in the flag, which I hate. It's desecration of the flag. If nothing else, this police fascist flag is just desecrating the flag. My opinion. So Timothy V, congratulations on proving that there's no bottom to stupid here in the United States of America, that you willingly, happily texted a picture and a video of you being in the Capitol Rotunda, breaking law to a federal law enforcement agent. Job well done, sir. Job well done. Oh, my fictitious God. God. I'll have some destruction of fascism now, please. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Indeed. Brainbug, how you doing? Hey, Julie LaVoice. Glad to see you this morning. It's a happy birthday? It's a happy birthday to Julie this morning? Is that what we're talking about here in the chat? I'm just like, and I'm drinking too. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm celebrating. For those of you who are just checking in, I got my coffee. I got my coffee. I got my Baileys, and I'm happy. And I'm going to give myself permission to be happy and maybe do some early morning drinking. All right. Stupidity cannot be cured or concealed, especially this Trumpist style of stupidity, this toxic, arrogant, aggressive form of stupidity, right? That it is a pandemic. You want to talk about pandemics? It isn't just COVID. It is this Trumpism, this evangelical toxic form of Christianity that's been infecting the country for forever. Jeez. Oh yeah, talking about strategic reserve steward. Stupid. That's right, Julie LaVoix. Excellent phrasing. Why? Thank you very much. And of course, going back to Steve Bannon getting pardoned. God, we'll just go with God or negative God. How's that? Points out pardons Bannon, who defrauded MAGA donors. Pardons are admissions of guilt. Wonder how the victims feel. You know, it's an interesting question, negative God, is that these MAGA donors, right, who got defrauded by Steve Bannon and, of course, by Donald J. Trump, they probably, you know, and I don't want to bring the party down and make things too negative, but they probably still love Trump. They probably would still give money to him, even when they know they're being defrauded. That's my guess. That's my humble suggestion. It's a good day to celebrate. You're right about that. Barry puts out, I'm trying not to pronounce it, Barry points out, Trump did pardon Lil Wayne on federal weapons charge. So Kalu Kalay. So let's I promised to talk about Joe Biden and what he's doing today, his first day in office, to help unravel this web of idiocy, racism, and fascism that Donald Trump has done. So let's take at least a cursory look at that. Here he is, the president. And once again, I just want to say that all the links to the stories we're doing are down in the description. I made sure that I didn't delete them by mistake like I did yesterday. So all the links to the stories are down in the description. So what's Biden doing on the first day? What I feel good about, what I'm happy about, and I'm going to jump down to the second point, is issue a mask mandate on federal property and interstate travel as part of a 100-day initiative. So he is issuing a mask mandate on federal property and interstate travel as part of a 100-day initiative. Now, you may say to me, Andy Hall, what difference does that really make? Is that really enforceable? Maybe it is on certain pieces of federal property. Sure, where there's law enforcement there, there'll be suggestions. But what's important? What's important is that Joe Biden is using the bully pulpit of the presidency to actually spread science-based solutions to the pandemic. Put on a bloody mask. Just put it on. Just put on a mask. That's all you have to do. Socially distance and put on a mask. So thank my fictitious God for Joe Biden and him just putting on this mask mandate and just talking about everyone on federal property and doing interstate travel. Put on a mask. Let's see. He's also, of course, implementing an effective vaccine distribution plan. You know, he plans to have 100 million vaccine doses administered in his first 100 days of office. Yeah, that seems a little ambitious, but at least he's trying. At least he's trying. At least he's not trying to do like herd mentality or thoughts and praying the whole crisis away. At least he's not doing that. All right, let's see what else. The President Trump, I mean, I just called Joe Biden President Trump. I was writing for today's Poe on my blog, Laughing in Disbelief, about President Joe Biden. And I said, wow, this feels really good. This feels really good that I'm writing and I'm saying the words to you right now, President Joe Biden. Yeah. All right, so what else is Joe Biden going to be doing? With diplomacy, he's rejoining the World Health Organization that Trump and his administration have proceeded to withdraw from. Yep. Education, his chief of staff said Biden will extend the existing pause in student loan payments and interest for millions of Americans with federal student loans. Yeah. How can you expect, the system is so rigged. The system is so rigged for people who aren't part of the 1%, for people who aren't affluent. The idea that in the middle of the pandemic that you can lose your health insurance, that you're still going to have to pay your school loans, it's crazy. It's crazy. So thank you, President Biden, making sure that or extending the existing pause on student loan payments. All right. What about the environment? The environment, that thing that Donald J. Trump doesn't like, that most Republicans don't like, aren't pro-environment, aren't pro-green. Re-enter the Paris Agreement, which involves nearly 200 countries and nations and their voluntary non-binding goals for reducing greenhouse gases. You can make a strong argument that the Paris Agreement doesn't do enough, right? You can make that, but at least you can tell that the Biden administration is taking the topic serious enough to re-enter the Paris Agreement. Sign new executive orders to put U.S. on track to achieve 100% clean energy economy and net zero emissions no later than 2050. Brain bug. I just saw that. I just saw what you wrote. I'll be right back. And of course on housing, extend nationwide restrictions and evictions and foreclosures, his chief of staff said January 6th. The thing is about this whole getting evicted because you can't pay your rent because there's a pandemic and there isn't enough help from the federal government. Leaving that up to the states, saying that if you're in Tennessee, let's say, then you're going to get evicted because you can't pay your rent because of the pandemic. But if you're in Massachusetts, for an example, you're safe. That's madness. That's not a real country. That's a schizophrenic society. All right. Oh, can we get bye Felicia video? I'll give you this. This is what I have on hand right here and right now. And no, I've done this before.
Donald Trump? Yeah! Donald Trump? Yeah!
Liked it enough to do it again. I'm sorry. I'm not going to apologize. I'm not going to apologize for that. I revoked my apology. Theo says the cooperative military conflicts must also be addressed. Oh, definitely. There just isn't enough money to go around in terms of you cannot have the military at this level and then do everything else that you're supposed to do. Oh, wow, Julie. Thank you, President Biden. I can't make payments on my student loans right now. I'm going to cough for a minute and I'm going to mute myself. I know someone who is a little bit younger than me, and he might have been 45 years old when he stopped paying his student loans. For an undergraduate degree too. Crazy. Let's see what else we got going on. Hey, Sammy Jenkins, how you doing this morning? Uh-oh, I just activated Siri here. I'm going to shut that. See, this is what happens when I start drinking. The whole system falls apart. All right. So that's what's going on with Joe Biden. Did we cover everything about Joe Biden? Did we cover all of his, for what he's doing here in the 100 days, or at least his first day? That's Thomas Fee, the man who shot a picture and a video of him breaking the law to a federal law enforcement officer. But we already talked about Thomas Fee. Hey, this is what else we're doing. We're talking about Joe Biden. First day in office, he's sending a bill to provide a path to citizenship for 11 million undocumented people. How racist is the United States of America? It's so racist that we can't even handle our immigration issues. A majority of economists will tell you that immigration is good for the country. It's just good. Overall, over time, it helps nations. Closing down borders prevents the free exchange of ideas, concepts, and the idea about shutting off our borders to immigration. It's just absurd. And the idea about we have these 11 million people in the country that don't have a path to citizenship. What kind of system is that? All right. What else is Mr. Biden doing about immigration? Sending a bill to Congress to make DACA permanent. So that's fantastic. Issue an executive order to create a federal task force to reunite children separated from parents at the border. I'm going to say that again. I'm going to say that again because it's so crazy. You have to hear it. I have to say it twice so that it makes sense to my mouth and to my ears. Issue an executive order to create a federal task force to reunite children separated from parents at the border. That's how bad the Trump administration was. Not only did they separate children from their parents at the border, but they kind of shrugged their shoulders about it and said, yeah, they're somewhere. They're somewhere. So there's Joe Biden making a task force to reunite children and parents. Job well done, Joe. F you, Trump. I don't think I've said F you, Trump yet this morning, so I'm going to say that. F you, Trump. LGBTQ. The LGBTQ, restore Obama era policy, recognizing transgender students' identity rights, access to facilities consistent with the gender identity, and more. And that was a policy rescinded by the Trump administration. We're going to be talking about James Dobson in like a minute or two, because James Dobson, founder of Focus on the Family, crazy Christian fundamentalist group, of course. Well, he has something to say about this. He has something to say about Joe Biden and the LGBTQ community. But give me a second or two. Let's complete this. And then on taxes, raise the corporate tax rate set by congressional tax cuts of 2017 from 21% to 28%. Really, I don't want to make this really super simple, but if you just appropriately taxed people, if you just appropriately taxed companies, a lot of problems would be solved. A lot of problems would be solved. It's as simple as that. You'd be able to properly fund universities. You'd be able to give everyone health care. You'd be able to do all these, universal basic income. You could do all of those things without having to put the country into debt, more debt. All right, let's see what the chat's going on. Let's see. Immigration is good. Yep. Phil Lister. In Sweden, a big concern is that lots of well-educated, skilled Poles, Lithuanians, and Latvians have left in the last year. I wasn't aware of that. And yeah, you look at the vaccine development done by immigrants, right? I forget, what is it? The Marina? See, I don't have the data off the top of my head, but yeah, immigration is a net positive. Well, the Blazing Wizard Pope, you raise a good point. What does it matter to raise the corporate tax? They will all evade taxes together anyway. I don't think we should let the good be the enemy of the perfect here. The perfect be the enemy of the good. We shouldn't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. So this is a step forward. If nothing else, if it's even just it's symbolic and sets the stage for more tax reform, because that's what we need here in the United States of America. It is tax reform. We need to tax people appropriately. That's right, Julie. No more babies in cages. And the children that are separated from their parents will be able to meet up with their parents again, hopefully, if they can be found. Modena. Thank you, Phil Lister. Modena. Blazing says, but in Denmark, companies get fewer tax breaks and pay most of it. Yeah. There is just especially, we're going to talk about taxes. Let's talk about taxes. And we have, what's great about this show, what's great about the people here in the chat, is that we have an international flavor here. And from what I understand, in many other countries, the government figures out basically what you owe for taxes, right? If you owe anything for taxes. And then they send you the information, you double check it, and then you send whatever information back. That's how I understand the system in many other countries. In the United States of America, thanks to the fact that we live in a corrupt society where lobbyists undermine the tax system, individual citizens have to figure out our own taxes, which it's a minefield to figure out your own taxes. Or you have to go to H&R Block, or you need a CPA. And it's funny, H&R Block, these CPAs, they are the ones paying the lobbyists to make sure the tax system stays messed up like that. So just drop that down. And I learned that from Adam Ruins Everything, a great show by Adam Conover. All right. If America wants to balance the budget, it must reduce defense expenditure. Yeah. The idea that we have 13? I don't even know. I've lost track of how many aircraft carriers we have. All right. Let's take a look at the last story. The last story I spent blazing wizard Pope. I spent 20 seconds on my taxes a year. My income tax is automatically deducted, so I can just multiply the monthly tax by 12, check it matches what my return says, and go, done. Let me tell you, when I do my taxes, I have to, because I get it done by, this person I use, I really like her. She's been doing my taxes ever since the divorce. She understands my situation, but I have to see her at least twice. I have to, I drop off my taxes and then I come, and then we talk. It's an extended process here in the States. And, I don't want to use that hackney term. It's a Kafkaesque system, but it kind of is a Kafkaesque system. And so it's, even when you're doing it right, it's very difficult to do it legally here in the United States of America. There's always a discussion. It's like, well, I could probably get you this kind of write-off, or I can do this for you. It is a system designed to entrap people here, because even if you're doing it well. All right, next story. James Dobson. Kids doomed to hell when Joe Biden's radical left ushers in more LGBTQ propaganda, fears hate group founder. I believe the story comes from Pink News. Link in the description, along with links to everything else. But apparently Joe Biden is going to send your kids to hell. He is dooming them. And it's because of the LGBTQ propaganda. In today's edition of Hate Group Founders Say the Darndest Things, American evangelist James Dobson has said that if Joe Biden takes the White House, the radical left will usher in a more LGBTQ propaganda. Biden has repeatedly pledged to sign the Equality Act to enshrine sweeping anti-discrimination law across employment, public education, housing, and more for LGBT plus citizens. It will add sexual orientation and gender identity to existing civil rights legislation. Is it me? But do evangelicals, we talked about it yesterday, but this is just another example of how much they hate. They talk about love. These Christians who are Christian theocrats, who are fascists, they talk about love all the time. But the first thing they do, the thing that they do is try to screw people. They just try to screw people. All right, let's take a look at what Mr. Dobson wrote in this piece. Writing now to parents and grandparents to 2020 and 2021, never in history has it been more important for you to defend your kids and your rights to raise them in fear and admonition of the Lord. So I don't think it's a right for parents to raise their children in fear. I don't think it's a right. Christians want you to think, evangelical Christians want you to think that you're not a person. They want you to think that you're a thing, that you're an object to be owned, that you're a slave to God, that man is a slave to God, woman is a slave to man, and children are slave to their parents. So when Dobson writes, you have a right to raise them in fear, that makes perfect sense to him. And it makes perfect sense to the Trump crowd too. But you don't own your kids. You just don't own your kids. You are stewards for their rights. You don't own your kids. I don't even like saying my kids. There's something in the back of my head that always says, oh, they're, my kid, my child, my boy, my daughter. There's something that does not ring true with that. It irritates me. I wish we had another way of explaining that relationship, the parental-child relationship. But I'm a steward for my children. Christians do not have a right to bring up their children in fear. I don't know why this is a radical thought. I do know why it's a radical thought. It's because of Christian indoctrination over the last couple of thousand years, right? You don't have a right to raise your child in fear of God, of the vicious bug bladder beast, of Godzilla. You don't have that right. You may think you do, but you don't. Let me continue. Fight for it with your very lives. If you are too intimidated or distracted to give priority to your children, the popular culture will take them to hell. That's right. If you don't teach your children to be afraid of God, then the popular culture is going to take them to hell. It's a perfect syllogism, for instance, for crazy people. Dobson has long sparred with the Equality Act. In 2019, according to On Top, he wrote in the syndicated column that the law is a, quote, thinly veiled death sentence to the First Amendment to the Constitution that will enslave Christians. Man, you can say one thing about James Dobson. Always crazy from downtown. All right, let's see what's going on in the comments. I just did that rant there for a minute. I'm sorry. No, I'm not going to say I'm sorry for the rant, to tell you the truth. It's a topic I feel strongly about, that parents don't own their children. You know, I can't tell you either how many times I've had this discussion when I was working with people who have disabilities in terms of their legal guardians. It's like, I hate to tell you this. I hate to bring this up, but being a legal guardian does not mean that you own your child. It doesn't mean that even if your child has a severe disability, it does not mean that you own your child. It means that you're a steward for their rights, but you don't own the person. Always puts a bee in my bonnet. Negative God. Religion is slavery, especially this particular brand of religion, isn't it? Theo says, they believe in that crap. You have to educate them. It's not LGBT propaganda, but good ethics to respect all natural players. Yeah, completely on point. Brainbug. We demand the right to psychologically abuse our children. And that's what it boils down to. Do you have the right to abuse another human being? It doesn't matter if they're a young person or an elderly person. You just don't have the right. You just don't have the right to abuse them. Julie LaVoy says they want to control the most intimate parts of our lives. Oh, yeah, screw that. Because if they can control your genitals, basically, right? If someone can control your genitals, then basically they've got you by the privies, don't they? They have you. I ask religious people what advantage they get from the discrimination of minorities. Good question. Good question. Hey, Kevin. Didn't see that you were there. I was ranting, Kevin. Good morning, you beautiful people. I'm just going to assume that you were talking about other people who are beautiful. Let's see. There we go. And James Henry. Well said. Owning and being responsible for are not the same things. That's right. I want to say that again. Owning and being responsible for are not the same things. If you're responsible for taking care of a child, does not mean that you own the child. You got a dog, you got a cat. That doesn't mean that you are free to abuse that animal. Oh, James Henry. Can't believe we're still talking about this in 2021. You know, I have to tell you something. It takes a bit of abstraction, a bit of the ability to think abstractly, to understand that taking care of someone doesn't mean that you own them. It doesn't mean that you have special rights or special abilities to abuse them. Well, you know, Brainbug, you raise a good point too. Absolutely remember that when engaging with evangelicals, it's very likely they're a victim of such abuse. Yeah, definitely. As anyone who's watched this channel has heard my story before, I got the crap end of the stick for a number of years. And so I always try to keep that in mind. And so when I'm talking with the evangelicals, like in real life, or I'm talking with Christians in real life, then I try to be a bit more humorous and a lot less ranty. That's what I try to be. I try to connect with my inner better angel. That's what I try to do. It's like people are getting dumber by the minute. Well, I was talking with David Neosi. This is a video I did a couple of months ago. David Neosi, big humanist. He was the president of two major humanist organizations. And we had this chat, this about a half-hour conversation about whether or not Americans are dumb and whether or not Americans are getting dumber. And it's worth listening to. You can check it out in my channel somewhere. All right. So, so that's my three stories. That's my three stories. Now we can talk about anything you want. Wait a minute. I want to talk about what makes me happy. Now, you may think, of course, Donald Trump is leaving, has left the building. He's left the White House. He's done his talk. He's heading off to Florida. Joe Biden is going to be president. Many of us thought this day wouldn't come. But what makes me happy today, especially, and I mentioned this before, here is my Donald Trump piñata. I'm going to beat the crap out of this later on today and cause some kind of incoherent fit of catharsis. It's going to be catharsis. It's going to be cathartic for me. I've been ranting about this guy for I don't even know how long. I know that when I started my blog over on Patheos in 2015, I think, I started riffing on Donald Trump pretty early. Over the last 4 years, I have spent considerable amount of ink, internet ink maybe, on riffing on him, riffing on Melania, riffing on the whole crime syndicate. I felt I owed it to myself. This was the present to me, from me, about Donald J. Trump, the piñata. And so, yeah, I'm going to fill it, maybe up with some cheeseburgers. I bought some nips. I know Donald Trump's a teetotaler. Part of his problem right there, probably, right? Doesn't like the juice. I'm going to fill it up with some cheeseburgers, some nips for Andy. And I don't know what else I'm going to fill it up with. And then I'm going to beat the crap out of it. I'm just going to beat the crap out of it. I was thinking about setting it on fire. If I was living at my old place back in the day, where I was in the suburbs, unhappy in the suburbs too. I had a fire pit that I could just throw this in the fire and do a ritual burning. But yeah, I'm going to be beating the crap out of this. And if anyone knows anything about piñatas, let me tell you that. You got to stab it first. You got to stab the piñata first to make it structurally weak enough so that it will break, so that it will break apart when you hit it. So I get to stab the piñata too. I get to stab this guy repeatedly. So that is what makes me happy. I don't know. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about? Anything else because there's so much. There is so. Please lock them up. Yeah. Excellent. Okay, let's see what goes on here in the chat. It's what makes me happy today. My boat is ready to be put back in the water after winter hull maintenance. I have no idea what winter hull maintenance, but I imagine it's maintenance that's done in the winter. That's clever, Andy. Clever. Blazing Whizzing Pope, always with a fast comment. A trimpiata. Yeah, well played, sir. Well played. So yeah, if you're just tuning in right now, I know people coming in and out. I am going to be stabbing my piñata of Donald Trump, filling it up full of cheeseburgers and nips. And maybe, I don't even know what else, and then beating the crap out of it later on today. In a childish fit of catharsis. Oh, you want to swing at it? Well, if you can make it here, don't forget to turn the blade, Andy. You get to put the blade in, and then you twist it around a bit. So this is for the kids in cages. Thanks, Phil Lister. So, obviously I have a lot of fun doing this. I love talking with you guys. I have a lot of fun. It won't be filled with mushrooms. I see what you did there, Brain Bug. I see what's Critical Gribble. How you doing? Always good to see Dave around. I want to swing at it, Negative God. Yeah, if anyone can make it here to Somerville, Massachusetts, then we could have, we have to have social distancing, right? We have to be able to do social distancing while still beating the crap out of the Trump head. Oh, well, conservatives are already blaming it on the mess with Biden, of course. But, haters are going to hate. And the idea is that we as Democrats have to keep on, or people of the free world, the peoples of non-Trump, is to try to push the ball down, try to do as well as we can to put pressure on politicians and to get the work done that we need to get done. Let's see. No, I did not check on what Pastor Greg Locke is doing this morning. Maybe getting an aneurysm. I'm sure just saying crazy things, right? Blazing Pope. It's full of Trump steak and pumpkin. Excellent. And of course, yeah, man, if you got, I think it's Archimedes, right? If I had a long enough pole, I could, if I had a long enough lever, I could beat the crap out of Donald Trump's head. The Trump yada. I think that's what Archimedes said. See, bringing it, geek reference right there. Brought up my Archimedes quote. He can, James Henry, Biden does control both houses. He can get stuff done for the American people. And you're right, Kamala Harris, Vice President Harris. How does that sound? Oh, this is the first time I've said it. This is the first time I said it when it's a real thing, right? Not only does it sound great to say President Joe Biden, but how awesome does it sound? I hope everyone says it. And it just takes a moment to enjoy it. Vice President Kamala Harris, right? How's that? So, yeah. Biden controls both houses. There are things which we've talked about before on this channel about what Biden can do to strengthen the Democratic Party, to strengthen the left here in this country. I pray to my fictitious God he's able to get Washington, D.C. and Puerto Rico as states, because that would help stack the Senate right there, and to get a more of a leftist policy being passed through those houses. Yeah, the last time the Dems had the House, the Senate, and the presidency, the Republicans were in minority status. Republicans filibustered quite a bit. There have been some Senate changes. So though the filibuster is still intact, there are some votes that can be done just on a 50-50, just on a majority. I believe it is budget, financial bills can be passed with just a 50-50 cut, with just a simple majority. Joe Manchin, West Virginia, that guy has to be primaried. Once again, I think AOC is right and the squad's right with their drive to primary these. I'm going to say it. Democrats in name only, right? Democrats in name only. They're not. They're actually Republicans, but they call themselves Democrats. Joe Manchin's a problem in West Virginia. And he can never be depended on. You're right. All right, everyone. I think that's the show. Unless there's anything else anyone wants to talk about. I mean, we covered quite a bit. There's always more to cover, but we got tomorrow's show too. Hopefully, we'll all be back here. We'll have happy stories about what we did during the inauguration. God equals 2009. That was the last time that the Democrats had the presidency, the House, and the Senate. And, I'm not going to argue for or against SCOTUS. I'm kind of agnostic on it. I think the most important thing they can do right now is to stack the Senate. If they could stack the Senate, I think things are going to be a lot easier. I think you'll have a functioning Senate as against or there's more of a chance to get a functional Senate that way and to get more bills passed, more productive bills passed at the very least. Oh, blazing. What did Little Wayne need to be pardoned for? I believe it was a federal gun charge, sir. It was a federal gun charge. And so I don't know what his punishment was for the federal gun charge, but that's what Little Wayne got pardoned for. And of course, Steve Bannon got pardoned too. However, the other people that were accused of the same crime he did, they did not get pardoned. So Trump just pardoned Steve Bannon because he liked him, basically. Yep. Watching Joe Biden and see someone who's functional. That's the thing about Donald J. Trump. He is like a middle schooler's idea of what a man is supposed to be, right? He is a middle schooler boy's vision of what a man is. He just runs his mouth. He bullies people. And that's what a middle school boy thinks a man is. And now we get to see Joe Biden, who is not those things. He doesn't bully people, right? He's willing to show some emotion. I would be happier. I'm not going to lie to you. I would be happier if Joe Biden was emitted a little bit more toughness, because Americans like that. But, I'm not going to throw stones at Joe Biden. Lil Wayne is a thug. Yeah. Well, yes, Snowden and Assange weren't. Yeah, I was not expecting them to get. I mean, the big news, of course, is that Trump didn't pardon himself, and he didn't pardon his kids either. So that's the big news. Of course, he can still pardon himself for the next 2 hours. So, who knows? Maybe he'll just throw in a pardon at the last minute. Simply secular. Trump may have pardoned the other with personal letters. Okay, that's interesting. Instead of decrees, we won't know until they are charged and disclose their pardons. Secret pardons, right. Yeah, there are pardons. There are commuted sentences. There's a variety. There's a family. There's different categories of the pardoning. All right. So hey, once again, I'm gonna go and finish up my Irish coffee. Thanks everyone for showing up. I had a lot of fun. Always have a lot of fun with you all. We'll be back. I think I'm going to be on Dave's show, Critical Cripple, at some point today. Maybe. I got to check my Twitter. But either way, take care, everyone. Be good. Be strong. I'm just going to do this police squad thing and just hold a pose.